He really wanted a photo of you in your Prius.
Mm.
I don't know why. Also, both of them individually asked me why you didn't buy their car. So, and instead bought a clearly inferior one, although I did point out that it was the touring model, not their base shit. Okay.
You just put the lid back on. What are you trying to tell me?
That you've had enough, don't you think? Kevin is eating, by the way, I'm recording already, peanut butter nuggets, which I've just discovered. These, by the way, I spilled all over the trunk of the GTI.
Really?
Yeah, so there's lint and whatever else was back there.
We got like a tub of those as our snack at Pikes Peak.
Amazing.
For the day.
Yeah.
Like when we were there for like 15 hours in one day.
So.
And we ate, I mean, basically the entire thing and felt awful about it.
You consumed...
don't even tell me. No, because it doesn't...
One nugget is 140 calories.
Yep.
You should be dead by
how many servings per container?
Apparently this enormous container is 10 serving sizes. 10 American serving sizes. Because I don't know how that's possible. I eat maybe one a month. Like one nugget a month.
One nugget per month.
Yeah.
And that's your sodium for the month.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Amazing. That's a swivel cap, by the way. Kevin just pushed it down.
I plan to be opening that again.
Like
in a moment.
Rube. Okay. So, we're recording, although we have no plan as to what we're actually talking about. Welcome to New for 96.
We gotta say in unison.
Oh, right. Ready? Welcome to New for 69. Oh no, we've already ruined it.
Don't forget to like and subscribe if you
forget,
like what you hear.
Yeah, should we do it properly? Like, welcome to New for 96. I don't think we're actually legally allowed to play that.
I think you can play the first few seconds.
Yeah.
This is for criticism.
Was probably blown out to hell too. It was. We're spiking off the meter here. My God. All right. So.
It's 4th of July.
It's 4th of July.
This is no longer evergreen, but we haven't stated what year it is.
That's true. Yeah. This could be, I don't know, 96. We're recording in 96.
This is a time capsule.
I know.
When we recorded this, there were no podcasts. This was just an audio diary, and we've repurposed it to be a podcast.
Yes.
What did you do today?
I actually did work today.
Oh, that's...
I know.
Good.
Well, work entails working for 5 minutes and then spending 20 minutes looking for cars online. So I did do that.
Working for 20 minutes and spending the rest of the day looking for cars online.
Yes, essentially. I will still be billing my client for each hour that is bookended, however. So, yeah, I went and looked for cars today. I sent you a few of them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you rolled your eyes at all but all of them. So...
no, I support all of these. You should go buy them all.
You know that I would.
Yeah.
And that I might. Although, by the way, that one that you probably hate the most out of that bunch,
the BMW.
The BMW, is like perfect. Like,
so it's like yours. 05?
06.
06 330.
That was the first year of the E90, you farmer.
Well, I remember seeing the E90 in the year 2005.
That's true. It actually was produced in 2005 as an 06 model year.
It was a new for 06.
06. Should we start over? Because we didn't really introduce the podcast.
I think that's better that way.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
We introduced the pretzel nuggets.
Mystery, and I'm doing jazz hands if people can't tell by the air fluctuating in front of the microphone. So yes, I found today I was randomly looking for sofas actually for our friend Daniel because he texted me in his new home, he has nowhere to sit apparently, but he
Oh.
has room for 6 cars
Yeah.
and an RV, I believe, in his yard.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason why I know that, and he doesn't know this, is that I stalked the listing, and they had an RV parked in his yard. Where
What
the
would we
grass is
do
now.
without you?
I don't know. Probably lead very normal, unperturbed lives. So, you would certainly probably have more money in your bank account because that is what I do.
Then I'd have to buy my own scotch.
Yeah.
So no,
that would
I
be
wouldn't.
terrible. Kevin comes over to my home frequently and drinks much of my scotch. I think, what would you say in gallons have we drunken together over the last several years? Like, probably at least 100 gallons. I don't know what a gallon is, but
That
seems like what
sounds
we've
right.
consumed.
It's like one of those jug problems
Mhm.
where you have to go from 5 gallons to 3 gallons and,
Mhm.
and end up with 2 gallons, but
Mhm.
you have that times 100
Yeah.
in full of whiskey.
I was going to go to a dirty joke about fellatio, but measured in feet or miles consumed.
Mhm.
But this is a family podcast, so we won't go there.
Now we have to have the explicit content tag.
I know. Well, I use the proper medical terminology, so to fellate. Speaking of fellating fellas, back to BMWs. Yeah, so I once owned a 2006 BMW 330i E90 because in that year, 2006, the E46 as a coupe was still available, as was the M3 and the Cabriolet. So there was a crossover. And in 2006, there was the 330i, the performance normal model, I suppose, and alongside that was sold the 325i. Both of these are 3 liters. Only one of these is labeled accordingly by the badge, which is no longer the case with any new car. Anyways, I consider that to be the best normal car I have ever owned. And I sold it 2 years ago, and I highly regret it. And I sold it for too cheap because I thought that the person buying it would be as big a pedant as me.
Mm-hmm.
And as it turns out, no one is as big a pedant as I am. So
it was in good condition too. The turntables had never been used.
Great
That's a
condition.
BMW joke.
Yeah,
it's a really good one.
I noticed that. Yeah, they still had the plastic on them. Anyways, yeah, I came across one today. I've never been able to find one for the price that I sold it at, and I finally found one today for the exact same price that I sold it for 2 years ago. With the same,
but better condition?
Same condition, like basically very good.
Mm-hmm.
Same miles too that I sold it at. Amazing.
I'm sure you've already checked the VIN, so you know it's not the same one.
It's not the same one. This one is actually Monaco blue. I had sparkling graphite metallic. So, and Monaco blue, by the way, is basically black but blue. And you have various opinions on this because I have gone through certain life experiences with the color black on cars, which is to be summarized as ruinous to one's well-being, mental well-being. But I feel like it's like a shade lighter than black.
So is this like meteor gray, kind of?
No. This is like, I mean, it's like dark blue. It's like black, basically.
But is it like a high flake?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
I don't know.
That could save it.
Yeah, I mean, it probably has like a couple more flakes than any other car that I've owned. That's not true, though. I actually don't... Oh, I do own a car with metallic paint. The GTI.
Yeah.
Which is a dark gray.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fine when it gets dirty. So if I can live with that. I also don't care about that car. So it gets like shat on by birds, people.
Mm-hmm.
I do live in a bad neighborhood. So I could probably live with this car.
Yeah.
Yeah. How do you feel about me buying the exact same car that I once had?
I'm coming around to it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was good and it made you happy.
Yeah. It was just it wasn't like a special occasion car by any means, obviously. But it was just like, it was just the perfect, well-rounded car. Like it was 5 seats, really 4.5.
Hmm.
And it was rear-wheel drive. It was a manual, and it around town it was just enough power. And the 335i I never thought was worth it around town because of just kind of the extra maintenance involved. And you just like never got to really wring out that engine unless you tracked it. So,
Hmm.
and the E90 was, or the 330i was basically maintenance free, save for the. Kevin's looking at me funny because maintenance is all relative on German cars, and sure, over 4 years it costs roughly five-ish thousand dollars.
Okay.
Um,
That's not, I mean, that really isn't too bad
yeah,
average.
yeah, it's fine. I mean, like it was probably about that mileage when I owned it. That the mileage range that I owned it in, it required like a little bit of maintenance, but
Yeah.
like that wasn't like terrible compared to say my current car,
Hmm.
uh, my other current car, which is a 2009 Porsche Cayman base, which has actually not really required any maintenance, but I have spent about $10,000 on it. And maybe we'll go into this a little bit later, but for various reasons, this has been one of the costlier cars that I've owned, and I've owned it for 2 years roughly. So, anyways,
I like that you have to question. It's not flat out the most expensive because there was a Saab in the mix.
the Saab is in the mix. Surprisingly enough, the Saab, which we should go into car histories at some point in time, because
Maybe.
I feel like this will delegitimize like the whole podcast.
Oh,
Like once we go
I think we're
through.
past that.
Yeah, yeah. So we're trying to make up for it now by buying like a bunch of cars, a bunch of stupid cars, if we're honest.
Hmm.
But anyways, I'll summarize the Saab with like the worst thing that ever happened to it, which many bad things happened because it was a Saab, and let's go ahead and qualify that this was also probably the worst Saab to own because it was a 1995 Saab 900 SE V6. It was my very first car.
Was it like certified pre-owned or did that exist then?
No, this was in 1999.
So it was like 4 years old.
It was 4 years old, which is a reasonable age for a
Yeah.
car. And I went through, and we'll go through this too, like about first cars. But I sought out. Actually, this is really characteristic of me. I did so much research on like the cars that I wanted, and I was looking at every other car but a Saab, and I came across a listing, and I was like, "Whoa, Saabs, that's kind of weird and kind of cool." And I, throughout like the years worth of research that I had done, this was really hard because this was like 1999, before the internet existed, and I had to go to the library and look up information. This is all untrue, but anyways, bought the car. It was a maintenance nightmare, to say the least, and part of that reason is because it was It was based on a European Opel Vectra, which is redundant, but and the engine was a 2.5 liter from GM, and it was Saab's first V6, six-cylinder in general, and it was just terrible. Anyways, the worst thing that ever happened to it, I'll summarize with the steering column snapped while I was on the freeway, and the steering wheel spun freely, but I still managed to come to a stop somehow. And it's amazing because I actually had brakes give out on me in a
Why didn't
mall
you just
parking
like
lot
mash
once.
the throttle and let the torque steer take you to the off ramp?
Okay, you rube. It was a V6. It was naturally aspirated, so there was no torque steer.
What's maybe not torque steer, but the whole like front wheel drive, like bad balance, engine being in front of the front axle.
It's kind of like that Simpsons thing where like Mr. Burns survives only by all of the diseases, like trying to fit through the one life hole that he has, basically whatever that means. All the flaws of that car, like basically, it also kept it together as much as was it kept together. So this is a rambling, but Kevin, how are you doing?
Good. Today we went out
Uh-huh.
during our mini monsoon that is
Mhm.
customary for all seasons of year in Houston, Texas.
Yeah.
And we were going to my sister-in-law's house or in that area and I've never seen San Felipe Street flood.
Mhm.
And we were driving there after, I guess, it had flooded, and we didn't even know. Like, there was no water on the streets really, but there was like a dozen abandoned vehicles just all around.
Wow.
Like, there was cars that had clearly been in accidents just left there.
Yeah.
There was like a Cadillac CT6 in the middle of one of the
Oh my
lanes,
God.
just abandoned, no one around it.
That's
Like,
crazy.
there was, I mean, it really was like a dozen. Like, it
Yeah.
felt like The Walking Dead or something. Like, we just approached this scene and everyone had just abandoned their. It was so bizarre because there was no real signs. Like, there was no signs that it had flooded.
Yeah.
There was some signs of some accidents, and I just thought people were bad at driving in the rain, which is also true. And if you
Oh my God.
drive with your hazard lights on at normal speeds because it's raining, you are an idiot, and
I agree.
it's very annoying.
Despite living in a modern day Venice during the summer, essentially. By the way, we are recording in Houston, Texas, which, as some of you or many of you may know, went through severe flooding about a year ago exactly. And this is our first probably major rain event. I mean, it wasn't major, but it was enough to
I think it
flood the
was.
streets.
I think it was pretty major. Like,
Yeah.
for these dozen people that lost their vehicles, it was probably pretty major.
Yeah, that might be major for them. And my street flooded actually, and when Kevin walked in, actually, I could hear the sounds of my neighbor wet vacuuming his car because it had been parked on the street and it got a little bit of water in it.
But this is what we put up with in Houston, Texas,
I
for
know.
all this natural splendor.
Yeah, really, truly. And did you have any post-Harvey traumatic feelings about today? Because we should precursor this with Kevin was displaced from his home for a few months, several months, 9 months.
No replacement for displacement.
Yeah.
9 months out of my house.
Yeah.
And we moved back in like 2 months ago, just in time for hurricane season.
Mm-hmm.
It was summer when we moved out and summer when we moved in.
Yep.
No, not really. Our street didn't flood this time.
Wow. Okay.
So it was fine. Like the street near me floods often, and we knew that and went a different way. But yeah, the bayou looked pretty raging when we crossed the bridge over it. And
raging bayou.
Yeah.
Yeah. My street floods easily because I live in the Montrose neighborhood of Houston, and it's a very inner city old neighborhood, which means that the drains are filled with leaves, trash, prophylactics, etc. And so the street instantly floods whenever it rains somewhat heavily. And so I had to my car, I strategically parked it on the high point of the street across from my house. And I started getting worried when I noticed that the water was getting within an inch of the door line. And so I put on my rain boots, which consisted of 2 trash bags tied up to my knees, and went outside. And it was a really weird feeling, by the way. I don't know if you've walked outside with trash bags wrapped around your knees, but it felt like you were getting wet anyways. And so it was a terrible sensation. And I moved it to a dry part of the neighborhood.
So you actually did that?
I did
you usually just say this as like hyperbole.
No, I actually did.
You actually did this.
Yes, I actually considered.
Did you use twine?
No, no, Kevin. I earn an income, and so I bought the bags with the plastic ties built into them. And so yes, and I actually considered for a second. Oh my God, my neighbors are gonna see me, and this is going to be absolutely terrible. And I considered just letting the car flood instead of having my neighbors see me in trash boots. And I went outside anyways, and the rain let up just shortly after I moved the car. I didn't have to move the car at all, and I got completely soaked, and it was really stupid. So this is what happens when you own 3 cars, 1 driveway space, and nowhere else to put them. The 3rd car, by the way, is in a storage garage that I rent. So the 1 car that I don't care about sits on the street, but I apparently cared about it enough today to move it. So it is safe and sound around the corner. But
Well, just explain why you own a GTI that you don't care about, because a lot of people
Yes.
like a lot of people love GTIs. I always have wanted one. I always thought it'd be a perfect like daily driver
Sure.
companion to a less practical sports car, and this is what you have, but it
Yes.
kind of fell into your lap.
It did fall in my lap. I daily drove the Cayman for about a year and a half, and it was fine. It was a fine daily driver. It is exactly that people describe, two trunks, like, and this is the base model with 18-inch wheels. Like, it's a decent city driver, but honestly, like, I wanted to keep it nice, and keeping it in the city, that proves to be difficult. So I had actually been looking for a daily driver for a while, just something like, and I actually wanted to find an E90 330i maybe, as a daily driver, but my brother actually, who used to live two doors down from me, was moving to Denver, and he didn't plan on having a car there, and sold it to me. So it's a 2011 Mark 6 GTI stick, four doors,
Plaid.
tartan. Yep, very important. I don't understand the people who spec it with leather. Like, that seems really. You like, half of the car is the tartan, and the
Hmm.
other half is that it's a 2-liter turbo. Um, anyways, it's a fine car. It is exactly as advertised, but I don't think that I've ever pined after a GTI. Like, in my entire car history, I've always respected it as a great, front wheel drive, front engined car, but I have no feelings for it. And I drive it and it feels fine. It just feels like a normal car. It feels quick. Like, and I suppose it's all about context, but I just feel nothing for it. And also, my brother didn't take the best care of it, so it's like it only has 77,000 miles, but it's a little bit beat up. It needs some cosmetic things.
Hmm.
It's keyed along one side. The headliner is drooping on. By the way, the headliner is drooping. How is that still a thing? Like, for a car that was produced in 2011, I don't know. But there are many quirky things about Volkswagens. And that's just it. It's a German car that requires German car maintenance, and that you have to spend German car maintenance money on it to
But
a
have
certain
you had
extent.
to?
Yeah, like, I just replaced the ABS sensor because one day as I was driving, all of the dashboard lights came on, and I don't know why that is the symptom, for like an ABS sensor, but like, literally, check engine, or obviously ABS, traction, airbag, like, all the lights came on, and it was fine. I mean, that was like $400, which, like, not a terrible thing, and probably something I could have done myself if I was a man that was handy. But that,
Alas, we are not.
yeah, it's not me. I do own a tool that sits inside my toolbox, which is very stylish. I did buy it because it was yellow and made by Stanley, and it looks very cool. I actually
Oh,
love collecting tools, but
really?
I don't use them for anything useful.
Where do you even put them?
In my tool closet,
Okay.
there is a place for it. So, as I don't own a garage, technically, I could keep it. I should keep it in the garage that I rent. Like,
Yeah.
I should make that like a whole thing, but
Hmm.
that whole thing needs to be cleaned first. It's pretty dirty. Like,
Oh.
and for those of you who don't know, I'm a designer by trade and also OCD by existence, and like, I have to make everything perfect, and that's part of the problem with owning this car, this GTI, is that it's not perfect, and I want to make it perfect. And the problem with that is I have to put so much money into it to do. I don't have to put so much money. I have to put money into it to make it perfect, and
But
I
isn't
just
it
don't.
freeing to when you have other cars that are too per? I mean, like when you have other cars that you're worried about,
Yeah.
like isn't it freeing to like okay, I've got a street park to go to this bar to meet my friends, and I can put the GTI there and not worry and
Yeah, maybe it's because it's not beat up enough for that. And
mm,
that's a relative statement because it's not that beat up. Like, honestly, this is a car that someone would buy if they were looking for a GTI. It's not that bad off. Fix the key scratch and the drooping headliner, and It's fine. Like it's actually probably almost perfect.
We could fix that headliner right now. We're graphic designers. We've got spray mount.
Definitely. We should
We'll
do
just
that.
Peel it back.
We'll close the doors.
Spray mount it. Yeah.
Roll up the windows.
Naturally.
Use aerosol spray mount.
Yes. 3M spray adhesive.
Yep. And it'll be good as new.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think
until the next time the temperature peaks 88 degrees, which is every single day for the next 6 months.
Exactly. Actually, I did read up, as I do, on VW Vortex. Why do all car forum names, have to be so bad? Like, we'll soon go into why.
What's a good one? I mean, is there a good one?
Oh, shit. I don't know.
What would be a good one?
Sobnet?
That was actually good because it's like it's so of the times.
I wish, by the way, folks, if you've not been to Sobnet yet, you should go because it was literally frozen in time from when it was created in like 1996.
I know of Sobnet because our friend Blake Z. Wrong sends me classifieds from Sobnet every day.
I wish it was sobnet.net because it would just be perfect.
Yeah. Well, it came out as the same time as the Sandra Bullock movie, The Net.
I love that movie. Do you remember? Okay,
I imagine the Dennis Miller stuff doesn't age well.
Oh man, it probably doesn't. But he drove an E34.
Really?
In it, yeah. Before I think he died. Spoiler alert. But yeah, it was like a 5. I don't remember what it was. It was a 530i or something like that, which you have experience with. My friend.
Yeah, the 530.
Yeah.
Yes.
The most useless V8, the most useless V8.
One of 17 options of engines available for the car.
Yeah.
It's actually like 6, but there was I think there was 4 inline 6 options.
Yeah, there was
at least.
Well, I don't know like concurrently. Maybe there was the 525.
Okay, there was 3. There was 4.
Was there?
There was 3. There was the 525 was inline 6. The 530 was a V8.
Yeah.
535 was an inline 6.
Yeah.
540 was the V8.
Yeah.
And then the M5 was an inline 6.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so some of these existed.
They all existed at the same time.
Really?
Yeah.
Did they?
There was no LCIs back then. It was a simpler time. Actually, there was an LCI.
Yeah, there were. They just didn't. They didn't have
change. I don't think they changed
the ultimate name, the life cycle impulse tag for it. Yeah, they just called it an update. Like fucking idiots.
So me and Daniel, after you left, our friend Daniel Sloan, and I, after me bitching about the term LCI being cynical hell world marketing speak, we used that term exclusively, and we talked with every single manufacturer. We're like, oh, it's a PT Cruiser. Oh, that's the LCI.
Now you use that indiscriminately, which is offensive, by the way.
But you do it, right?
I don't do it. I refuse.
So by using it and using it the wrong way, I'm angering you.
I have maybe a little bit, yes. Like we'll have to read my diary out loud later to find out.
This is the diary. Oh, this is the audio diary recording in 1996.
Oh my God.
I'm holding up a newspaper from 1996.
Yep. Oh, what is that about? A blowjob and a stain? My God, wait, was he in?
That was like 1999. This was. That's
true.
This was re-election.
I should know this because I actually own a Clinton Gore sticker.
Yeah.
Which I have on one of my cars, which is actually period appropriate.
Well, you've just alienated half of Middle America. All of Middle America, half of our audience.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I've actually been called out already for having that sticker.
Really?
Yeah. And I won't go into an immense amount of detail about it, but my design studio, I also work for one where we studio. The owner happens to be, let's just say after the most recent election, raised a certain flag with a certain tagline
the
on
interlocking
it.
T and P?
Yeah, the penetrating penetrated P. No, I wish. Like it was it just had a slogan on it, and many people found it maybe slightly over the top and offensive, and so anyways, he's a car guy, sort of. Well, car guy is such a loose term, isn't it? Like a lot of people are car guys. Car people will be open.
I'm a Cars movie.
Will be
I love the
inclusive.
Pixar movie.
Yeah,
I'm a Cars guy.
That means like basically every child is a car person. This man does own some interesting vehicles. Anyway, so I showed up in the car that we have not yet mentioned, which I recently purchased. It's something that I've had my eye on for a long time now. It's a 1992 Toyota Celsior, which is a Japanese domestic market Lexus LS400, and it is exactly that car to a T, but mirrored. So it's the steering wheel's on the right hand side, but it has like really cool like things that make it unique, and we'll go into this a little bit later. Because anyways, I brought it to the office, and of course he walks out, he sees it, like, and he starts talking to me, and then he sees like the Clinton Gore sticker. He's like, "Oh, we don't allow that here."
Oh my god.
I know. And he's that type of guy that like he jokes, but you cannot tell if he's joking. Like, I swear, like I was reaching for nothing. I had no weapons because I, of course, lean maybe perhaps a little bit to the left-hand side of things. And so I had nothing but my wit to protect me. And as it turns out, wit is useless.
Yes.
Anyways, he was apparently just joking and appreciated the car nonetheless. And so living in Texas, I do fear that may be a magnet for trouble sometimes, having a Clinton Gore sticker on the back of it, but I feel like it's just ironic enough that people would just kind of giggle at it more than comment on it.
Yeah.
So, anyways.
I have that fear too, now that I have a vehicle that I park outdoors, and I do want to adorn it with stupid stickers, mostly to cover up paint imperfections, and I don't want to have anything like political because I don't really want to draw a target on my home. Yes. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So.
But you know what? Aren't we the cowards though?
Absolutely. Like, we are on record.
We have like absolutely
here in the year of our Lord,
nothing.
1996, on record.
We have absolutely like we're not even being close to be like outwardly spoken on any like political issue in particular or political anything. Like
I mean, I just don't need all of my like elderly baby boomer neighbors. It's like if they were to see my Twitter, I think my house would be set ablaze.
Yes, the same.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm fine with being outward, but I just like my home is different.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I fear that to maybe a certain extent, even though I live in probably the most progressive neighborhood in Houston. The Montrose neighborhood is historically known as the Gayborhood, and so and all the political signs adorned in front of my neighbors' homes tend to be progressive leaning, although there are the few outsiders who did post
pro Bob Dole?
Yes, amazingly enough.
Because this
my
is
God, I just figured they were pen enthusiasts, but I'm a Mont Blanc man myself, as am a fancy boy. But anyways, we diverge from cars. Back to it. So what did you buy as a daily driver, by the way, now that we've declared mine?
I bought a 07 Prius. I think it was you kind of turned me on to the idea of them being an interesting car. And interesting, not really the right word, but like it's just a everyday car that you don't have to think about. It is a complete non-event, and it's not going to break. And I really only have the stomach for one expensive nightmare car.
Yes. And
I want something else that's just like I can just rack up miles and I would have considered like a used like Nissan Leaf or something, fully electric.
Sure.
But sometimes I have to drive, a few hundred miles to the next civilization in Texas, so that was kind of out. And
you've only been really mocked by one of our friends, car enthusiast friends, for buying a Prius.
I've been mocked by a few.
Yeah.
But it's fine. It doesn't get to me. If this was my only... Yes. All right, I mean, this may offend some people. If this was my only vehicle, I would kill myself. But it's not, and it's just the one, like, I feel confident enough because I'm like, oh, I have, like, a fun car that is in the garage, and I'm driving this because it is monsooning, and it is 98 degrees outside in Houston. And I can drive this, and I don't feel like I'm suffering.
You know what? Here's the thing, is that generation Prius, well, just Priuses in general, have gotten a bad rap, and there was... You know, granted, it is exactly that. It's meant to be kind of an emotionless machine. It's more like a representation of...
oh, wait. I have to interrupt you to point out it is the touring model.
Ooh, yeah.
So, yes. So, with the...
He's bought the automotive enthusiast model.
I really think it's just like it's the XLE. But,
yes.
Yeah, but, I mean, with the comfort access, it really is no event.
That's dumb because it would be the SE model.
How is it sportier? I just thought it was more luxury.
It has the big wheels, 16 inches, and the sports suspension, probably. And it's called... Well, touring is misnomer then, because, yes. Nevertheless, the Prius, I actually... You know what? I think it's kind of... People don't give it enough credit, because when you drive it, I think you do feel like something... And a confession, because I actually also owned a Prius at one point in time. I bought one in 2008 because it was... I actually bought it as a rolling bumper sticker, not to get political once again, but I wanted to make a certain statement, and then I kind of fell into, like... the Prius world, which is really terrible because you have to look up things.
You're talking about PriusChat.com.
God damn it. Yes, you have to, in order to look up things about the car, maintenance, modifications, etc., you have to go to PriusChat.com.
Okay, what would be a good, besides Subnet, what's a good forum? Okay, because in my history, there was Probe Talk. There was I had a 350Z. There was 350Z Tech.
Yes.
There you got Porsche Rennlist and Pelican Parts. Those are the big forums.
Yeah, and there you know why oh shit, why can't I remember?
Beamer Chat. Fuck. Is that a thing?
No, it's not. It's called
Beamer Post. Beamer Post.
There is actually one that with Beamer in it, and I don't remember what it is now.
I think it's Beamer Post.
But there are many other ones, which are all equally terrible. But I was going to say, like, they had Planet 9. Planet 9 is a Porsche forum. And it actually used to be called Cayman Talk or something like that, because it was actually launched when the Cayman came out, and Porsche had an issue with it, as they have an issue with anything remotely... like branded close or exactly to something that they have currently in their lineup.
Yeah.
Even though this was like an enthusiast-oriented, like these are the people buying their products, and this is how they perpetuate the purchasing of this product. Anyway, so it was...
There was like a 986 specific forum, and I can't remember what it was. Exactly, that's the reaction I had. Like, I wouldn't even trust any kind of like FAQs or things. I don't know why.
I used to visit E90 Post all the time.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah. Anyways, the Prius though is, and it. Here's the thing: is that when I had it, I had to try to make it into like an enjoyable car. So I did put I put wheels on it.
Did you have wider tires than stock?
I did. It was really stupid. I should not have put wheels on it because here's the thing. I got into hypermiling, and the thing about hypermiling is that people think that it means that you're less attentive to your surroundings because you're trying to increase mileage, but the only way to increase mileage is actually to be more attentive to your surroundings. And so, like, I was actually a better driver when I hypermiled, and I eked out almost 60 miles per gallon city. But I could only keep that up for like a few months because it got really annoying.
I think mine might have a failing battery. Just a small detail.
Speaking of like ease of maintenance, also I did, when you were shopping for these cars, because I had some experience with these, because I had some experience from my own car, because it's a Toyota. It's meant to be like this, easy, cheap thing to maintain. And I had mine's under warranty at the time, but I had two HID lights fail almost at the same time, and Toyota replaced one of them under warranty at the cost of nearly $800.
It's because they have to take the bumper off.
They take bumper
That's
off.
like the procedure, and I think it's a
Place
lot
the
of
ballast
labor.
and it's a whole thing. And I told Kevin, like, just watch out. Here are the models that have HID lights. And then he bought one with HID lights. And what happened immediately?
One of the HID lights stopped working reliably, which was a problem. So I had that fixed. Well, in the most embarrassing way possible, I bought a bulb and tried to replace it myself and lacerated my hand pretty not actually severely, but I did get quite a few, Mars and cuts that turned into blisters from like, you have to, like, there's YouTube videos on how to replace the headlight without taking the bumper off.
Yeah.
And that was really my mistake, was trying to do that. It's just,
you're
sticking your hands into like this tiny compartments.
Have you seen what YouTubers look like? Like,
unfortunately.
you ascribed, like...
Yeah, I have, because they're holding their phone on selfie mode while changing the headlight on the Prius. But so I not only did I fail at replacing the bulb, but I did end up paying someone else to replace the bulb, and they did not use my bulb, so I paid for that bulb twice. And then stupidly, I should have had them replace both bulbs when they presumably had the bumper off, because
are they different colors now?
They are different colors.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember when I had my bulb changed under warranty. Like, they asked me if I wanted to spend another $800 to replace the other bulb.
Wait, really?
Because preemptively, but also because the color temperature is.
But they should.
changed.
I mean, they should, once they have the bumper off. I know it's changed, but like now the bulb is like $50.
Yeah. The bulb is like easy and you can do it.
But
yourself.
I mean, it might have been more expensive then.
Yeah. Well, also it was like a dealership, so.
Or as I like to say, the Steelers.
Yes. Well, I did something stupid when I bought that car. I bought the extended warranty. But here's a trick to all of you out there in podcast land. If you ever buy an extended warranty, which, by the way, don't ever buy one for Toyota because it's stupid. I did actually break even on this warranty, but you can shop around for your extended warranty from the factory. And I bought mine from like a dealership in New Jersey who was a frequent poster on Prius Chat and offered discounts. And so instead of paying like $1,200 or something for a warranty, I bought mine for like $900. And it worked. It worked at any dealership around the nation. So if you have
That's
any car, you can buy an extended warranty from any dealership who offers you the best deal on one. But that is besides the point, because now we own cars that do not have warranties and in no way are qualified to have extended warranties on them.
Your Cayman couldn't.
No, it was actually, when I bought it, it was a twice CPO'd car.
Wow.
So, which is part of the reason why I bought the car. It was,
like, I always think of that Cayman as so new, and now it's like, to think that it's like 9 years old now.
It's 9 years
crazy.
Old. Yeah.
Because the facelift Cayman looks so fresh to me. Partially because you never see them. Like, they just didn't make a lot of the LCI models.
God damn it. It's a 987.2.
This is a family show.
God. Yes, it is a 987.2, which is the facelift model, and it has the 2.9 liter non-IMS engine.
Worth the premium to you and no one else.
It was worth the premium to me, and it didn't matter anyways, because once again, we'll go into it on a different conversation. Like, I'm nearing the cost of like an engine replacement anyways, which was my primary fear of buying an IMS car, which, by the way, the Cayman I was looking for a 911 originally, and last minute I decided to buy a Cayman.
Was it really last minute? I mean, you kind of,
for about like 2 weeks. I
don't remember you even looking. I don't remember you showing me like, oh, here. Like, I remember there just not being many base LCI Caymans for sale
God damn it.
at the time. Like, I don't remember you showing me other ones. Like, oh, here's a silver one in Baltimore.
No.
Like, I don't remember any.
'Cause
I remember
I
it was
looking-
like you once you settled on the Cayman, you found this one. It was in Illinois,
Yeah.
and it was the 2.9,
Chicago, it was 2.9. It was low mileage, like, and
and it was a
actually-
manual. And I
it was a
imagine
manual.
most of them were PDK.
Yeah,
right?
and yeah, a lot of them are PDK, but there are plenty of manuals out there. But I was looking before that at 9871 S's, and I had test drove a bunch of them, and I was intent on buying it, point one, and I actually
So
was
pre LCI.
yeah pre SCI, and I actually was like in the middle of a deal for one, like in this like remote island. Literally, it was an island on an island off of Washington State.
Like Vancouver, Washington, right?
Almost, yeah. Like it was. I don't remember the name of the island. It was close to Seattle, but here's the thing: is that it was within 20 miles of Seattle, minus the water.
Was it also black?
It was silver. It was actually.
Ooh.
It was the perfect spec.
I do remember you talking about this car.
Yeah,
The
it was like
one-
it was silver. I know it was boring, but it was silver. It was 97.1 S with like everything that I wanted, including PASM, which I know that a lot of people think that it's a useless feature, but I live in a very urban neighborhood with many potholes, and PASM is probably like very ideal because my current car, despite having 18-inch wheels, which are the base wheels, there came in S2s. Anyways, it's insanely rough. Like, neither here nor there. Yeah, I was looking at 9871 S's, and I lost out on that one because some guy, classically, I found this car through Craigslist. Classically, like, I had actually scheduled a PPI on the island, which it was just like at Joe's garage, and it was the only place that the guy could take it to. And I just wanted to make sure that the engine was falling out of the car. And the guy calls me up, like as he's taking it to the PPI place, and he tells me, listen, there's a guy flying in right now, and he's gonna buy it. And I prefer doing it in person, and I'll just pay for the PPI. Like, and that was it. Like, he just, like, I was ready. I was going to send him money to buy this car, and some idiot was going to fly up there and drive it down, which I completely understand, but, like,
Probably
also,
someone like me who
yeah,
who does things stupidly.
yeah, well, yeah.
We really are like the
You-
complete opposites.
Oh, my God. But you didn't fly up blindly to buy this car.
I know. And if I had, it would have been really stupid.
I mean, I consider that all the time now because I've missed out on so many deals.
I did just drive up to Austin, Texas to buy a Prius and drive it back.
You
And that's basically the
you didn't even
American
get a
dream.
PPI on it.
Nope, I didn't.
To be fair, I didn't get a PPI on the Celsior. I actually kind of just blindly bought that car.
Prius inspection.
Yep. And anyways, that'll be another thing too. We'll go into our buying habits because I'm the exact opposite of Kevin. I am a hand wringer when it comes to buying cars.
That's what makes it so remarkable that you've bought 2 cars this year.
I know, and kind of. But we'll go into that another time. I actually got a post-purchase inspection on one of them, actually on both of them, which is basically useless. And it doesn't matter because.
It's like, tell me all the things I don't want to know.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of, yeah.
I'm actually about to probably make, and I told Kevin, this is the year of me being stupid, meaning that I'm probably going to purchase another car. So I own a 4th car, and I again, have no place to put these. I have one garage space, one driveway space at my house, meaning that another car will probably have to sit on the street, at least until probably I sell one of them, which I need to, if anyone's looking for a very well-maintained 97.2 Cayman.
When I sold my Boxer,
Yes.
I had it PPI'd for the next owner at that place, Kobe Motors.
Oh.
And that's where the Boxer that I saw yesterday had the plate frame from.
Oh, amazing. I
Yeah.
cannot believe.
They mostly work on like 944s and things
I
like
don't
that.
even know where that is.
It's in the Hammock District over by
Of
where
course.
all of those cars, like all of those car places where you've gone and looked at cars.
Oh my god.
It's over there.
The car district.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On Hammock Street.
Yeah.
It's over by there.
I've been there so many times for reasons that like I don't want to be over there for. So mainly to fix cars, and to look at cars.
And look at cars.
Yeah,
you looked at an SC there. You looked at a
911 SC and a 996 Turbo, and neither of which I bought. And
despite my urgings.
Despite your urging, but your urging is always like anytime I see a car, I should just buy it.
Yeah.
So there are various issues involved with that, mainly involving my OCD-ness about like buying cars, and so
yeah, maybe you shouldn't trust your instincts based on your Cayman experience.
I know that was the car that like I like hand-wringingly like prepared myself to buy, and then like only because like it was my first Porsche, and like I had gone from 996 to 997 to 987 1S's to I'm just gonna say fuck it all. Like to 2 years worth of like looking for a car, and then buying the first non-IMS car just because.
Yeah, the 987.2 Cayman and Boxster is theoretically and probably like the most bulletproof modern Porsche sports car because it doesn't have the IMS.
Yeah,
it's the base model is very low stressed.
Yeah, non-DFI. Yeah. So the like so-called potential issues with
carbon buildup,
etc.
And also, I mean, and at the time, and this was 2 years ago, like the 981 is most likely very reliable, but you know, there just wasn't the data out there of like, you know, what are these like, you know.
And here's the thing is that I know, you know, IMS talk is boring as hell and it's been hashed out to death, but like. Even though it is a rare occurrence, for some reason on Houston Craigslist, I have seen, at least in the last year, 2 IMS victims or 2 IMS victim Caymans, basically. Although, again, forum talk will say that it couldn't possibly be IMS. It was something else that like destroyed the engine, etc. Yeah. It doesn't matter. Like something.
One of the other 26 points of failure on the M96.
So, at any rate, I thought I was buying peace of mind, and I did buy peace of mind actually, because it was a daily driver, and I just didn't want to have to like deal with things, and I had to deal with things anyway.
Yeah,
but they were out of my control and out of the car's control, to be quite honest. So it doesn't matter.
But you know, I, as someone who has had a 2001 Boxster S, that is a, you know, likely, or it's a possibility to be suspect to IMS. Like, it is a terrible feeling when you are so happy with your new car and then you look on forums and you see like the possibility of what can happen.
Yeah.
And you are looking at like, you know, you're just kind of, you know, I do my due diligence once I've purchased the car and it's sitting in my garage. And then that's when I crack my knuckles and begin researching on what I should have done. But I mean, I was in love with this car and I'm like, oh God, like I am going to lose all of my hair if I have to worry that every time I start the car, it might grenade itself to the tune of $14,000 without labor for a replacement or something like that, which I cannot do any of that labor myself. And it freaks you out, and you pay for the peace of mind. And IMS, like whether or not it's an overblown threat, it is like it's a thing you don't want to have to worry about.
Yeah, it is playing like the bad luck lottery a little bit. I mean, it has happened, and it happens enough. Like, so, and even though like it's only forum posters who like will complain, but still, it is a thing. And so that's why like I am now in search of other fragile cars to shorten my lifespan with.
Like what?
Like, so I divide my interests between several different cars. A Porsche, it will be. But Kevin and I recently went and looked at a Guards Red 996 twin turbo. And it was A really good looking car. I didn't know. I've always wanted a red car. I don't think I've ever wanted a red Porsche per se, but I've been convinced over the last like year that Guards red is kind of a nice color. It's
Yeah.
kind of like it adds kind of, especially if it's a weekend driver, it adds kind of a little bit of occasion to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and something about this turbo. I mean, one, it was like perfectly maintained by the previous owner, etc. It was perfect aesthetic condition or cosmetic condition. It was a little too high mileage for the price. Anyways, I was also looking at SEs, 911 SEs or Carreras. So that
You
would
mean
be
SC or SE?
the 911 SE, the sports edition model.
That's the 5-inch screen.
Yeah, yeah. 911 SCs, because Kevin convinced me. I haven't seen him die yet from maintenance, although like perhaps the love in his marriage has died a little bit by way of
That is
owning that
a
car.
factual statement.
Yeah.
Yes.
But like I was convinced, like I do want an air-cooled car at some point in my life, and so G models are certainly on my radar. And then also like a recent interest are 993s, like slightly high mileage, like 100,000 mile. 993s are kind of neat. I've never been interested in 993s because I didn't really care for the looks much. But
Wait, who doesn't like the look of a
I
993?
don't know because it doesn't have that. Because it doesn't have like that. Sorry, there are fireworks going on because we forget it's the 4th of July outside of my house. Anyways, yeah, like 993s, I do like the looks of the 993. I don't think they're as good looking as G models or even 964s, just because they don't have like that definition from the headlights. Like it
Yeah.
almost has like a 968 kind of like flat
Totally. Yeah.
hood. And honestly, if you kind of cropped just the face of the 993, I don't think it was very good. It's just kind of like very. It looks.
There's some
kinda like a-
seams that don't really
Yeah.
like. There's some weird lines to the seams that isn't that straightforward. Like, oh, I don't know if I would have done that now.
But here's the thing: is that it is kind of like as they say and overstate. It's the last like it's the best air cooled that you can buy in terms of like comfort,
Yeah.
in theory, reliability, etc. So it intrigues me.
Mhm.
And everyone who's ever owned one has never said that they've hated it. So
Right.
I've heard various things about various other cars, but that one piques my interest. So those are the 3 cars that I'm kind of looking at right now in the Porsche realm. And I sent you one today.
Yeah. Yeah.
That I actually, so I have like 90 tabs open on my computer, and they are all potential candidates. Oh, I'm sorry. There's a 4th interest too. I am thinking about 997s as well.
Yeah.
Just on the complete opposite end of the spectrum. But that's only if I find like the right one at the right place at the right time. To be quite honest, I'd probably jump to that over an air cooled. But anyways,
The 997 is like probably the. I mean, you could make a case that the 997 is the best 911 that's ever been made.
yeah,
Like
especially
as far as just like comfort, like
Yeah.
as far as the ethos of the 911 of like comfort and everyday and real sporting, like the size is right.
The size is right,
and it's got that like growl and grunt that the 996 doesn't really have. Like,
well, it depends on which one, but
Right.
And it has good looks.
Yeah.
Like even though I actually do enjoy the 996
yeah.
0.1 looks over the 0.2 looks,
Mhm.
and I don't mind them at all. The 997 is a better place to be on the interior. I mean,
Yeah.
to be quite honest, like it's still not like the best interior to be in, but it's uncontroversial.
Yeah.
And then if you get a 0.2, then you also have you are no longer in danger of at least one of the 26 points of potential failure on a 911 of that era. So there is that. But anyway, so that's what intrigues me, and plus I'd probably consider using it on a more regular basis. if it were a modern Porsche versus a classic. Although you used to daily drive your air cooled, and it was fine, except
Yeah.
that it's a little uncomfortable during the summers.
Yeah, it's a
In
little tough in the
Texas.
summer. I
Yeah.
survived one summer in it as my primary vehicle,
Yes.
and you didn't see me for months at a time because I didn't leave my home.
No, you really didn't.
Um,
Kevin lives in rural Texas, and I say that because I live I literally if you Google mapped Houston, the pin almost drops exactly where my house is. I literally live in the city center, and Kevin lives outside of 2 freeways from me. It's literally maybe 5
I'm
miles,
15 minutes away.
Yeah, but I never leave. I don't. If I have to cross the first freeway, it's too much.
I know.
So
that's why I come here.
I know.
It's to escape.
I know. Anyways, I think that we should probably conclude our first podcast because we are. We haven't gone to the brochures yet, but we are at the hour mark, and I do feel like people, the last remaining listener, which would be the only listener,
they just tuned out.
They're gone, girl. So we should probably save that for podcast number 2.
I think so.
We'll have a much more organized plan for what we're going to talk about. But yeah, so this was New for 96, episode 1, or the pilot, if you will. So we'll see if we get picked up.
Yeah, we'll see.
By ourselves. This is, since we didn't introduce ourselves.
Yeah.
Chris Wynn signing off.
That's how you pronounce that?
God.
And I'm Kevin McCauley.
See you later. Yeah.